So the negative brought up that I stated that CAFOs are not economically feasible. I never said that. I do believe they are economically feasible. Obviously, if they're in production right now, they're feasible. What we are suggesting is that regular farm operations are just as feasible as CAFOs are. He pointed to that, or the negative pointed out that the CAFOs provide a low-cost source of food and enhance the local economy. If they enhance the local economy, then why is it in this study by David Ostberg, Community Health and Socioeconomic Issues Surrounding Concentrated Animal Feeding Operations, published in 2007, and I quote, "There were compared two agricultural communities, one dominated by larger industrialized farms with absentee ownership and a high percentage of hired farm labor, and the other community was dominated by smaller owner-operated farms. The latter community, the smaller owner-operated ones, was found to have a richer social fabric with more retail purchases made locally and with income more equitably distributed." They also mentioned that the large production lowers the cost of food. This lower cost of food changes the values of Americans, where food isn't really seen as valuable anymore, and food is a very valuable thing. He mentioned how people in poverty are starving. If we make it so inexpensive to buy food that we no longer value it, it no longer becomes something to work for, and with that, it ensues gluttony and lack of care when concerning food. Also on how CAFOs are more feasible than regular farm operations, I want to point out a study by John Kilpatrick, Animal Operations and Residential Property Values, that mentions first, animal operations have a substantial indirect negative economic impact on surrounding communities, including property values in those communities, via shifts in sources of purchases and other inputs into factors of production. An early study by Chisholm and Levins reports that smaller farms make nearly 95% of their expenditures locally, while larger operations spend less than 20% locally. This study was published in 2015, and I believe it dismisses that CAFOs spend more locally than local farms. I want to bring up how the negatives have failed to refute our evidence on significance claims of how CAFOs are a detriment to the health of the environment and the people around. In a study by Colby, "Won't You Be My Neighbor? Living with Concentrated Animal Feeding Operations," is quoted, "Air pollution is the other major source of problems, with up to 40% of CAFO workers experiencing serious respiratory illnesses, including chronic bronchitis, organic dust toxin syndrome, and sinusitis." So yes, we have lower cost for food, but are we going to place that value above the value of keeping the community healthy and safe?